The ship floated in the darkness of space like a broken ghost. Its hull was torn, lights were dead, and smoke drifted from holes that once held proud banners of Earth's fleet. Around it, pieces of metal and frozen bodies floated silently, reminders of a war that ended only hours ago. Inside the shattered corridors of the human ship Vanguard, a faint red emergency light blinked through the smoke. Sparks hissed from damaged panels, and the air was thin, filled with the sharp smell of burned circuits. Then, in the wreckage of the command deck, a hand moved. Lieutenant Adam Cross gasped for breath as he pulled himself free from twisted metal. His head throbbed, blood trickling down his temple. For a moment he didn't remember where he was. Then it hit him, the battle, the explosions, the screams. He looked around dazed. The ship's main screen was shattered. The captain's chair was empty. The bridge was silent except for the sound of distant sparks crackling. "Command?" Adam whispered into his radio. "This is Vanguard. Requesting status report." "Anyone?" Only static answered. He tried again. "Fleet Command, this is Lieutenant Cross. Do you copy?" Silence. Then, in the distance, the dull sound of engines fading away. Through the cracked viewing window, Adam saw flashes of light, jump gates closing. His allies were leaving. "No," he muttered, his heart sinking. "They think we're all dead." He stumbled toward the console and checked the ship's logs. The battle record was clear. Alien forces had overwhelmed the fleet. Humanity's allies, the very ones who promised to stay and fight, had fled first. The Vanguard was left behind to burn. Adam's throat tightened. For a long moment he just stood there, staring at the black void outside. He was alone. And then the alarm started again. A low, rhythmic tone echoed through the empty corridors. External approach detected. Adam quickly checked the sensors. What he saw froze him in place. Multiple small objects were moving toward the ship, scavenger drones. Alien machines used to tear apart wrecks and harvest whatever remained. They weren't rescuers. They were vultures. Adam's oxygen meter blinked red. 40 minutes left. His weapons locker was gone, destroyed when the hull breached. Half the ship's systems were offline. He was one man, unarmed, stranded, and forgotten. But something inside him refused to give up. He limped to the engineering panel and tried to reroute emergency power. The screen flickered weakly. He remembered his training, the hours of combat drills, and the words of his captain. "Humans adapt, Adam. When everything fails, we don't." The words echoed in his mind as he worked. He connected damaged wires with scraps of metal, using his bare hands. Sparks burned his gloves. He ignored the pain. One by one, the systems flickered back. Partial shields, short-range radar, and life support. The ship's AI was offline, but the base system still recognized his command codes. "Come on," he whispered, typing fast. "Just a little more." A faint hum filled the bridge. Lights blinked back to life in the corridors. The Vanguard wasn't dead yet. But the drones were getting closer. Through a side monitor, Adam watched them, small, spider-like machines crawling along the hull, scanning for weak points. One of them turned its sensor toward the bridge, red light glowing like an eye. Adam crouched low, breathing shallow. He couldn't fight them directly. Not yet. He had to think like an engineer, and like a soldier. He opened the ship's blueprint on the console and studied it. Power cells, ventilation shafts, pressure locks. Everything he could use. A plan began to form in his mind. He could trick them. He could make the ship seem lifeless while preparing his counterattack. He deactivated external heat signals, vented parts of the ship, and rerouted power to hidden sections. The drones, reading no signs of life, continued cutting through other parts of the wreck. Adam used the moment to move. He crawled through narrow maintenance tunnels, dragging an oxygen tank behind him. Every breath was heavy. Every sound echoed too loud. He reached the lower deck where flames still burned. Bodies of his crewmates lay twisted among the wreckage. He paused for a moment, clenching his fists. "They left us," he whispered. "They left me." He knelt and took a data drive from the captain's uniform, the ship's core memory. If he could restore the reactor, even partially, he could use it to power weapons or send a message. Back on the bridge, the drone sounds grew louder. Metal claws scraped against the outer hull. The entire ship trembled. Adam had minutes left. He plugged the data drive into the console. The screen flickered. Old combat codes, shield controls, targeting systems. All of it waiting for power. For the first time since he woke up, Adam smiled, a tired, angry smile. He whispered softly to the silent ship. "You and me, old girl. Let's remind them what humans can do." He reached for the control panel, hands steady now despite the chaos around him. Sparks flew as he began rewiring the ship's reactor, connecting power lines that should never touch. The air filled with the hum of returning energy. Lights glowed brighter. The bridge trembled under his feet. Outside, the scavenger drones paused. Their scanners picked up a new signal, energy returning from inside the ship. The wreck was coming alive again. Adam stared at the control screen, his reflection glowing in the flickering light. He took one final breath and said the words that would echo through the stars. "Then I'll show them what one human can do." And with that, the Vanguard came back to life. One heartbeat, one man against the darkness of space. The Vanguard floated silently through the void, its hull glowing faintly with emergency power. Inside, Lieutenant Adam Cross moved carefully through the half-lit corridors. The ship groaned with every shift of metal. Somewhere deep in its broken heart, machinery hummed, weak but alive. Adam had managed to bring a few systems online. Life support worked in small areas, oxygen was just enough to breathe, and one engine gave off a soft, uneven pulse. It wasn't much, but it was something. He took a slow breath, his lungs burning. "Still here," he whispered to himself. "Still human." The monitors flickered as Adam checked the ship's sensors. Outside he could see them, the alien scavenger drones. Dozens of them crawled along the ship's surface, slicing through panels with cutting beams. They moved like insects, cold and precise. He zoomed in on one of them. The alien design was sleek, metallic and heartless. A strange blue light blinked under its armor, its way of communicating with the others. Adam watched as it cut open one of the ship's cargo bays and sent data to its mothership. Scanning, stripping, feeding, Adam muttered under his breath. "That's all you know how to do." He realized the drones were transmitting everything back to a larger ship nearby, a scavenger vessel orbiting a few kilometers away. They were tearing the Vanguard apart piece by piece. And if they reached the reactor, it would all be over. Adam thought quickly. Fighting wasn't an option. Not yet. He needed to make them afraid, confuse them, make them think something else was inside this wreck. He began by restoring parts of the internal sound system. Most of it was damaged, but a few speakers still worked. He connected them to his personal pad, searching through the ship's audio logs. His fingers stopped on an old file, a piece of human music from Earth, soft and eerie. He smiled faintly. Let's see if ghosts can sing. Moments later, across the empty corridors, the slow sound of a human violin began to echo. It drifted through the ship, fading in and out like whispers from another world. Outside, one of the drones stopped cutting. It scanned the corridor, detecting strange vibrations. Another drone joined it. They sent warning signals to their command ship. Inside, Adam moved quietly through the ventilation shafts, crawling toward the drone control section. His body ached and his breathing grew heavier. But every time he wanted to stop, he remembered the faces of his crewmates, the ones they left behind. He reached a control panel near the docking bay and began typing. Through hacked systems, he accessed the ship's defense drones, small, half-broken machines still buried in the storage deck. Their targeting systems were old but usable. He rerouted their signals. Instead of protecting humans, they would now hunt anything non-human that moved inside the ship. "Welcome to the haunted house," Adam whispered as he activated them. A low mechanical hum filled the halls. Somewhere deep inside the ship, metal wings unfolded. Small defense drones rose from the dark, flickering red eyes searching for targets. The alien scavenger drones were the first to notice. One by one they began to vanish from the outer decks. A flash of light, a silent explosion, a sudden disappearance. The alien command ship watching from orbit started receiving fragmented feeds. Noise, static, strange images of human faces flickering in dead screens. "What is happening?" the alien commander hissed in his own tongue. That ship was dead. No one answered. Only static came through the speakers. On board the Vanguard, Adam listened to their confusion through the intercepted signals. The alien language translated into broken English on his cracked display. Possible survivor detected. Ghost activity? Ship systems reactivated. Unknown interference. Adam leaned back against the wall, exhaustion hitting him like a wave. His lips curved into a tired smile. Ghost activity, huh? Yeah, maybe. He moved to the upper deck, stepping over wreckage and frozen airlocks. The music still played softly in the background, slow, haunting, human. It echoed through every broken corridor, carried by the air systems like a whisper from the past. The alien commander, still watching from orbit, grew impatient. He ordered his elite team to board the Vanguard and find whatever was left inside. Minutes later, 3 alien boarding pods crashed into the ship's hull. The creatures emerged in dark armor, carrying weapons that glowed blue. Their visors scanned the interior, picking up faint heat signatures. Life form detected, one said. But what they found was not what they expected. In the first corridor they discovered broken drones, their own machines torn apart. Strange marks covered the walls, symbols written in blood and oil. We remember. In the second corridor the music grew louder. A human voice echoed faintly through the speakers. Adam's old transmission test. Is anyone out there? I repeat, this is Lieutenant Adam Cross. But when they traced the sound, the source was empty. The console was smashed years ago. The aliens grew nervous. One of them turned to the commander. Sir, there's something wrong here. The commander hissed, humans are dead. This is illusion. Then the lights flickered just once. And from the shadows above them, a defense drone dropped silently, firing a sharp burst of plasma. The first alien fell instantly. The others opened fire wildly, their blue shots lighting up the corridor. Adam watched it all from a distant camera feed, hidden in the command deck. His heartbeat was steady. That's right, he whispered. Keep chasing ghosts. He used the chaos to hack into the alien mothership's frequency. Through the static he sent a simple message. You shouldn't have come here. The alien commander froze as the human voice echoed across their bridge. The sound was clear, cold, and very alive. They tried to trace the source, but the Vanguard systems were too corrupted, or too smart. Back on the ship, Adam shut down the transmission and leaned back, breathing hard. He had no idea how long he could keep this up, but for now the scavengers were confused and scared. He looked out at the stars through the cracked window, his face lit by the red warning lights. For the first time he wasn't just surviving. He was fighting back. And somewhere deep in the alien mothership, the crew whispered a word they hadn't spoken in centuries, a word that once haunted their ancestors. Human. The alien commander stared at the monitor in disbelief. The Vanguard, a dead, broken human ship, was moving. It shouldn't have been possible. Static flickered across the alien ship's screens. Faint human voices echoed in the background, distorted, haunting. Sometimes laughter. Sometimes screams. Every time they tried to trace the signal, it vanished, replaced by one phrase. You shouldn't have come here. Fear spread through the alien crew. They called the wreck the ghost ship. But the commander didn't believe in ghosts. He wanted proof. Prepare another boarding team, he ordered coldly. I want that human found. Inside the Vanguard, Adam Cross was working without rest. His body ached, his oxygen was still running low, but his mind refused to stop. He sat in front of the ship's cracked console, eyes glowing with the dim light of the screens. Every system he repaired gave him more control, more tools, more ways to fight. He had turned the Vanguard from a dead ship into a silent trap. Through the damaged surveillance feeds he watched the aliens approach again. 4 boarding pods this time. He counted their heat signatures, 12 soldiers, heavy armor, plasma rifles. Good, Adam whispered, his voice calm. Come closer. He moved quickly through the corridors, sealing off certain sections and opening others. The ship's layout was now a maze of fire, darkness, and broken gravity. He used emergency vents to drop temperatures, making his heat signature vanish from sensors. In the cargo bay he pulled out what was left of the defense drones. 3 still worked, barely. Their targeting systems flickered, but their weapons charged with a faint hum. Adam reprogrammed them by hand, muttering to himself. Protect. Human. He set them loose in the lower decks, giving them simple orders. Eliminate intruders. Then he crawled into a maintenance shaft, pulling his sidearm close. It had only 2 bullets left. The rest of his plan would rely on fear and traps. Minutes later, the first alien pod crashed into the Vanguard's outer hull. The impact shook the entire ship. Metal screamed. Alarms wailed. Adam watched through his monitors as the airlock opened and 12 armored aliens stepped inside, their weapons scanning every shadow. Life readings faint, one of them said. Be alert, replied the commander. He's somewhere in here. The moment they entered, Adam triggered the first trap. A small door behind them sealed shut automatically, locking them inside the docking corridor. Then the lights went out. For a second, everything was silent. Then from the ship's speakers a human voice spoke, soft, slow, and cold. You left me here. The aliens froze. One of them raised his weapon. Commander, the voice. You ran while we burned, the voice continued, calm and steady. Now you came back for the bones. The aliens fired at the speakers, sparks flying everywhere. But more voices echoed down the hallway, repeating the same words over and over. You left me here. You left me here. You left me here. The sound grew louder, layered, almost like a chorus. Then came the second trap. The gravity in the corridor suddenly failed. The aliens floated upward, their boots tearing from the floor. Before they could react, a defense drone dropped from the ceiling and fired 3 shots of blue plasma. 2 aliens were hit instantly, their armor melting as they screamed. The rest fired back blindly, their shots lighting up the spinning corridor. The drone exploded, but the damage was done. Their formation broke, panic spread. Adam watched it all from the upper deck, his jaw tight. He didn't enjoy it, but he couldn't stop. It was survival now. He opened the next section of the ship, leading the survivors deeper inside, right into the maze he had built. The alien commander's voice echoed through their comms. Find the human and finish this. It's just one man. But even he sounded unsure. As the soldiers moved forward, the ship seemed to change. Doors closed behind them without warning. Holographic flickers of human crew appeared in the corridors, old recordings from before the battle. Smiling faces, friendly voices. One alien hesitated as a hologram of a little girl waved at him, saying, "Welcome aboard the Vanguard." Then a laser trap activated beneath him. The ship's sensors detected another 2 intruders. Adam triggered a decompression lock. The floor opened, and the aliens were sucked into the cold of space, their screams cut short. Back on the alien command ship, the crew watched in horror as the signals from their soldiers blinked out one by one. Casualties, 10. Only 2 left, someone said. The commander slammed his fist on the console. He's just a human. But deep inside he wasn't sure anymore. Something about this human felt different. Inside the Vanguard, Adam was crawling through the dark, his breathing shallow. He reached the armory, half destroyed but still useful. Among the debris he found an old pulse rifle. It was damaged but workable. He checked the charge, 27%. Enough for one last fight. The remaining 2 aliens were closing in. Their footsteps echoed through the metal halls. Adam waited near the junction, hidden in the smoke. His hands shook, but his aim didn't. When the first alien turned the corner, Adam fired. The pulse shot hit clean through the visor. The alien fell without a sound. The last one charged, screaming in fury. Adam rolled aside, grabbed a loose pipe, and struck the alien's weapon arm. The rifle clattered away. They fought hand to hand, metal armor against blood and will. The alien was stronger, but Adam was faster. He dodged a heavy swing and drove the broken pipe into a weak spot near the alien's neck armor. Sparks flew. The creature fell, choking on its own breath. Adam stood over the body, panting. His hands trembled, his oxygen meter blinking red. Not bad, he muttered. For one man. He dragged himself back to the command deck and checked the sensors. The alien mothership was still there, hovering silently. They hadn't left yet. He looked straight into the cracked camera, knowing they were watching. Then in a calm voice he said, "You wanted your proof? Here it is." He turned on the ship's external lights, revealing piles of broken drones and the shattered pods floating in space. The alien commander stared at the sight, his mouth dry. Around him, his crew sat in silence. On their screen, the human appeared once more, his face tired but alive. "You left me," Adam said. "Now I decide who leaves alive." The transmission cut off. Outside, the Vanguard's reactor hummed louder, its systems slowly coming back to life. Weapons, damaged but functional, rotated toward the alien mothership. Adam stood in the dark, eyes cold, voice steady. "Let's finish what you started." And for the first time since the war began, the aliens realized something terrifying. They hadn't left behind a survivor. They had left behind a human weapon. The alien command ship floated in silent orbit, staring at the broken human vessel below. The Vanguard, once a crippled wreck, now burned with light. Energy flickered through its wounded hull like veins pulsing with fire. Every alien officer on the bridge could feel it. Something inside that ship was awake. "Commander," one of the officers whispered, "the human, he's still alive." The commander's face was pale, his eyes narrow with disbelief. Impossible. That ship was destroyed. But the screens didn't lie. Thermal readings showed heat signatures, movement, power fluctuations, as if the Vanguard itself was alive. "Then explain this," another officer said, pointing at the data feed. "He's using the ship's old systems by hand." The commander leaned forward. One human cannot control a ship of that size. But even as he said it, he saw the impossible. the Vanguard's forward guns moving, tracking their position. He felt a chill run down his spine. Inside the Vanguard, Lieutenant Adam Cross worked like a man possessed. His uniform was torn, his hands burned from hot circuits, but his eyes were full of purpose. He had repaired the ship's main transmitter, piece by piece, using wires scavenged from drones. The alien frequency codes he had stolen earlier now gave him access to their entire network. He could hear their fear. He could hear them whisper his name, the human ghost. Adam activated the console and began recording a message. His voice was calm, low, and cold. To the alien scavenger fleet, you left us to die. You came for our bones. Now you will leave with nothing. He paused, letting the static stretch out before continuing. This is Lieutenant Adam Cross of the Earthship Vanguard. One soldier still fights. He pressed send. The message echoed across multiple frequencies, not just to the scavengers but to anyone within light minutes of the system. It spread across the void like a warning. Every alien ship in the nearby region heard the same human voice repeating, "You left me to die. Now I decide who leaves alive." On the alien mothership, the commander shouted for his comms officer. "Jam that transmission. Now." "We can't, sir," the officer cried. "It's bouncing through our own relay beacons." "What?" "He hacked our network." The commander's jaw tightened. "Destroy that wreck. No. I want it gone." The order went out. Massive cannons turned toward the Vanguard. Targeting systems locked. Energy charged in glowing coils. The alien fleet aimed everything they had at one half-dead human ship. Adam saw the targeting locks light up across his sensors. He smiled grimly. He had expected this. He quickly rerouted all the ship's remaining power into the forward shields and primary reactor. The Vanguard's energy core hummed louder, vibrating the entire hull. Warning lights flashed red across the consoles. "Come on, old girl," he whispered. "Just one more fight." The alien fleet fired. Blinding energy beams tore through the void, slamming into the Vanguard's shields. The entire ship shook violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Metal screamed. Adam's chair ripped free and crashed to the floor. The alarms wailed in a deafening chorus. But when the light faded, the ship was still there. Barely. The shields held for only a moment, but it was enough. He fired back. The Vanguard's railguns roared to life, shooting molten metal shells at near light speed. The first round tore through an alien frigate, splitting it in half. The second exploded against the mothership's shields, shaking the entire vessel. The alien bridge erupted in panic. "Return fire. All ships. Kill him." But their scanners were going crazy. False readings appeared everywhere, dozens of phantom ships on their radar. The Vanguard's decoy systems, powered by Adam's reprogrammed drones, made it look like an entire fleet had appeared from the void. "Multiple targets, human fleet incoming," a terrified officer shouted. The commander's eyes widened. "That's impossible." Adam laughed quietly from the bridge, his voice raw. "Not impossible, just human." He moved fast, switching between consoles, firing what weapons still worked. Every explosion outside lit up the dark ship in flashes of orange and blue. But Adam knew he couldn't win this way. Not for long. The Vanguard was dying, its hull cracking, its power cells almost empty. He opened the navigation screen and looked at the glowing map of space. His gaze settled on one location, the alien relay hub. A massive communication center floating between stars, connecting hundreds of systems. If he could send his message through that hub, every alien world in this sector would hear him. They would all know what happened here. They would all know the truth. The Vanguard didn't need to survive. It just needed to speak. Adam rerouted the last of the ship's power into the jump drive. The system flickered and groaned. It wasn't meant to activate under this much damage. "Come on," he whispered. "One last ride." The alien fleet, realizing what he was doing, opened fire again. Missiles streaked through space, chasing the Vanguard. But before they hit, the human ship vanished in a flash of blue light. On the alien mothership, silence filled the bridge. "Where did he go?" one officer whispered. The commander stared at the empty radar screen, trembling. "He's gone. He escaped the gravity well." Another voice spoke softly. "To where, sir?" The commander didn't answer. He just stared into the void, knowing that wherever that human was going next, someone was going to pay. Across the stars, the human message continued to echo. "You left us to die. You came for our bones. Now you will leave with nothing." Alien traders, soldiers, and civilians heard it. Entire fleets stopped mid-space to listen. And for the first time in generations, The galaxy remembered what humans were capable of. They had left one behind. And now he was teaching them why that was a mistake. The stars stretched into blue streaks as the Vanguard jumped through space. The hull groaned under the pressure. Every plate cracked, every circuit screamed. Inside, Lieutenant Adam Cross held on tight, his knuckles white. The navigation panel flickered wildly, sparks flying across the console. He could smell burning metal. The ship was falling apart, and he knew it. He looked at the small screen showing his destination, the relay hub. A massive alien communication station that linked hundreds of systems together. If he could reach it, his message would echo through every corner of the galaxy. But the Vanguard wasn't built for another jump. One more might kill both him and the ship. He wiped sweat from his forehead and whispered, "You've done enough, old girl. Just hold together a little longer." Moments later, the Vanguard tore out of hyperspace, appearing in orbit above the relay hub. The structure was enormous, a metal moon with glowing rings rotating around its core. Thousands of alien ships surrounded it, all busy relaying messages, updating navigation grids and transmitting military orders. No one noticed the half-dead human ship drifting toward them, not yet. Adam shut down all active systems, letting the Vanguard appear as cold debris. The silence was haunting. Only the faint hum of life support remained. He floated through the corridor toward the data core, his boots echoing softly. His body was bruised, his hands shaking, but his eyes burned with purpose. He had come too far to stop now. In the control room, Adam connected a power cable to the relay interface. The terminal came to life with a low hum. Alien symbols filled the display, language he'd learned the hard way during the war. He typed quickly, overriding firewalls, bypassing access locks. The system resisted, but he knew their codes, their habits, their weaknesses. They thought humans couldn't understand their tech. They were wrong. A progress bar appeared on the screen. Uploading, 27%, 48%, 73%. He leaned back in his chair, breathing heavily. The upload was slow, too slow. He looked out the window at the station below, glowing with energy and activity. They'd notice him soon. And they did. "Sir." Unknown vessel detected near Relay Hub 3. The alien operator shouted from his console aboard the command bridge of the station. "What kind of vessel?" the commander demanded. The operator frowned. "Old design. Human markings, but impossible. Humans are extinct." The commander froze. He had heard that voice before, the one echoing across every frequency. "Scan for transmissions," he ordered. The operator's eyes widened. "He's hacking our relay network." The commander's eyes narrowed in horror. "Shut him down. Now." He didn't know that it was already too late. Inside the Vanguard, alarms blared as defense drones activated. Adam could see them on his radar, dozens of red blips approaching fast. He grabbed his weapon, a plasma cutter turned into a makeshift rifle, and ran through the smoke-filled corridor. Each step echoed like a drumbeat of war. The drones smashed through the hull, filling the corridor with light. Adam dove behind a bulkhead as laser fire scorched the walls. He fired back, sparks flying, his weapon glowing bright with every shot. One drone exploded, then another, but there were too many. A blast hit the wall beside him, throwing him across the room. His shoulders slammed into the floor. He could barely breathe, pain tearing through his chest. The upload timer flashed on his wrist screen, 93%, 95%, 98%. He coughed, tasting blood. "Come on," he whispered. "Just finish." The final drone closed in. Its weapon charged, glowing white-hot. Adam aimed his rifle with shaking hands. Empty. The power cell was dead. The drone hovered close, preparing to fire. Adam looked it in the eye, and smiled. "You're too late." The upload bar hit 100%. Every light in the Vanguard flared at once. Power surged through the dying ship as the message uploaded into the relay's heart. Across the relay hub, screens flickered. Every alien console glitched. Military networks, trade channels, and civilian frequencies were overridden. A single human voice replaced them all. "To those who left us behind. You thought Earth was gone. You thought humanity was finished. But you were wrong." Every alien in that system froze. The voice was everywhere, deep, steady, filled with defiance. "This is Lieutenant Adam Cross, Earthship Vanguard. You came for our wrecks, our bodies, our silence. But remember this, humans don't die quietly. We burn." The entire relay hub began to overload. Circuits exploded. Antennas melted. Communication towers caught fire. The human code spread like wildfire, corrupting everything it touched. The alien commander screamed orders, but no one could stop it. The system's core reactor overheated, glowing white with energy. And in the middle of it all, the Vanguard lit up one final time. Its engines roared, not for flight but for vengeance. The ship hurled itself into the relay hub's power core, colliding in a blinding flash. The explosion tore through the structure, shredding everything in orbit. A wave of light expanded into space, and with it, the message spread across the galaxy. Hours later, across hundreds of alien worlds, the message played on loop. On military outposts, trading stations, and royal halls, the same haunting words echoed. One ship, one human. Remember what you left behind. Alien leaders stared in silence, realizing what had just happened. A dead human ship had crippled an entire communications network, and no one had been able to stop it. The fear spread faster than the signal. Some whispered that the humans were returning. Others swore they already had. Far away in the ruins of deep space, a small black box drifted among the debris, its light still blinking. Inside it was a single human recording, Adam Cross's voice, calm and proud. If anyone finds this, tell them Earth is not done. Silence filled the stars. Where the relay hub once stood, only ashes drifted, glowing fragments of metal turning slowly in the void. The explosion's echo had faded, but its signal had not. Across the galaxy, the name Vanguard had become a whisper, a warning, and a fear. Alien fleets stayed on high alert. Trade routes were frozen. Everyone feared the same question. What if the humans weren't gone? Far away on the edge of a dead star system, a small colony ship drifted quietly. Its name, Arc-7. It was one of the last human evacuation vessels from the Great War. Hidden, forgotten, and silent for decades. Inside, Captain Mira Chen woke from stasis to the sound of an alarm. The ship's AI, Halen, spoke softly. Captain, an external transmission has reached us. Origin unknown. Mira frowned, rubbing her eyes. Play it. The screen flickered. Static filled the room. Then a voice broke through, calm, familiar, human. This is Lieutenant Adam Cross, Earthship Vanguard. You thought Earth was gone. You thought humanity was finished. But you were wrong. Mira froze. The bridge crew one by one turned toward the sound. The voice of a dead man was echoing across the stars. The recording continued, distorted but clear. We burn. The crew sat in silence. Then someone whispered, he's alive. Halen ran a data scan. The transmission has spread across 400 sectors. It originated from the destroyed relay hub. Mira looked at the map, glowing lines stretched across the galaxy, forming a web of red human code. The message had infected every alien system it touched. But buried deep within the data was something else. Coordinates. Halen, Mira said quietly, plot those coordinates. The star map shifted. The coordinates pointed to one place, Sol System. For years, humanity had believed Earth was uninhabitable, poisoned after the war, abandoned by survivors. But if Adam's message was right, someone had made contact from near there. Someone had survived. Mira clenched her fists. Prepare the ship. We're going home. The crew stared at her in disbelief. Captain, we don't have the weapons. We don't even have fuel for a return trip, said Officer Kalen. She turned toward him, her eyes sharp. Neither did Adam Cross. And he still did the unthinkable. Meanwhile, across the alien worlds, panic spread like wildfire. High councils held emergency meetings. The galactic network was crippled, communication failures, power collapses, riots. The human virus had not only destroyed the relay hub, it was rewriting systems, renaming files, changing ship commands. And every time an alien tried to delete it, the message reappeared. Remember what you left behind. Entire fleets went dark, fearing infection. Admirals whispered that humanity had created a ghost weapon, a self-aware code that carried human rage. They called it the Fire of Earth. But it wasn't a weapon. It was one man's voice. On a hidden surveillance moon, a group of alien scientists examined the last signal recorded before the relay hub exploded. It showed the Vanguard, burning, falling apart, diving straight into the relay's reactor. And just before the impact, a human figure stood in the fire, looking straight at the camera. The image froze there, endless and haunting. The aliens didn't understand why he smiled. Back aboard Arc-7, Captain Mira stood at the observation deck, watching the stars move. The engines hummed as the ship changed course toward Earth. She felt something she hadn't felt in years: hope. Halen interrupted the silence. Captain, a secondary signal has been detected. Origin unknown, moving toward our position. Myra's heart skipped. Identify. It carries human biosigns. She turned sharply. Repeat that. Human biosigns confirmed. Signal strength increasing. A flicker appeared on the radar, a small, damaged craft limping through space. It wasn't supposed to be there. No ship should have survived the relay hub's destruction. Mira leaned forward, eyes wide. Open a visual. The screen blinked. Static cleared. Through the smoke and wreckage, a half-broken hull came into view, blackened, missing entire sections, but still glowing faintly with human markings. Across the metal surface, the letters could barely be seen. Vanguard. The bridge went silent. Mira whispered, "He's alive." The damaged ship drifted closer, slow and steady. Its engines were dead, but something powered it, something unseen. Inside the wreck, a single heartbeat pulsed through the systems. A small beacon blinked on the control panel, carrying one final message. Humanity endures. The light flickered once, and then stabilized. Far across the galaxy, the last remnants of the alien High Council gathered in fear. They replayed Adam Cross's message one final time. Each word hit like a strike of thunder. One ship. One soldier. One message. They looked at one another, pale and silent. Because they finally understood, this wasn't revenge. It was a promise. And that promise had just awakened the return of Earth.